Yo, what's going on? It's King here, and I'm coming at you with something a little different. We got the top 10 Bleach characters. Now, this is because I finished Bleach a couple months ago through the manga and watched the anime. I gotta say, now people who say Bleach is trash or is all that, I threw that out the window once I got to the 1,000-year blow arc. Is Bleach perfect? Obviously not. There is no such thing as a perfect series to me, but I gotta talk about Bleach. So we're gonna do the top 10 characters for me personally. So if you got your own top 5, top 10, leave that in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and get up into this. And get the honorable mentions out of the way. We got Renji, Byakuya. They were really close to making it in here, specifically Byakuya. Rukia, who she was very close to making as well in the top 10. And then there's Yoruichi and Matsumoto, last two because, you know, obvious reasons. So coming in number 10, I have the number 1 member from the Espada, or the Iran card, whichever you want to call him. I got Coyote Stark at number 10. Coyote Stark to me is such a cool character, even though one of the problems with the Espada was that we didn't really spend many times with them, as much time as I wish we could. But the backstory on Stark, him being the lone member, him kind of being this lone wolf guy, in the sense that also not only was he very lonely in, you know, Weko Mundo, he felt like he really didn't have anybody on his strength level as well. He's such an interesting character to be, and he has one of the best designs in the entire series. I really like him. I got him at number 10. Number 9, I got the current general captain of the Gotei 13, and that is Shinsui. I really like Shinsui. Obviously, Shinsui brings a cool vibe to him, but obviously, I liked his connection with Yamamoto and how Shinsui was kind of groomed to be the next in line after Yamamoto. But I also really appreciate in the manga later on in the 1,000-year blow arc, kind of like his saddened backstory of what was going on with him, Nanao, and her mother and all that. I don't want to really spoil too much, obviously, but I think that whole thing was so cool, especially him giving Nanao the Zanpakuto that he was holding. I really thought that was really cool in a way to like bring both of those characters and like kind of complete their characters at the same time. I think Shinsui is pretty cool, and I got him at number 9. Number 8, I have to go with Toshiro. I grew to like Toshiro more as the story went on. Mainly because obviously he is a fan favorite a lot of times because of his, you know, his personality, his character. He's the prodigy. He has all that, the character design, everything, the Zanpakuto. He has everything. I was kind of just waiting on seeing more of his progression as kind of being the captain. And I like how his backstory of, well, it wasn't really fully fleshed out, but like basically how he kind of took over as the Ishin, and that's a nice like tie-in to him and Ichigo and why, you know, we kind of notice him and Ichigo are together a lot when it comes to the captains, and I really like that. Obviously his Bankai is one of the main reasons he's in the top 10. That Bankai is ridiculous. Like when that gets, I mean, technically we did see an anime in the trailer, but my god. And then obviously the guy is just cool as hell. The freaking ice is such a cool feature, and then even like him and, you know, then him and Momo, I thought that was decent for what it was, but I feel like that was more so for Toshiro's character than it was for Momo personally. But I really like Toshiro, and I can't wait to see him, you know, animated in the next Bleach stuff. Now for number 7, I got Mayuri. I think Mayuri is he's one of those characters where he's so different. I'm actually a fan of the evil scientist trope that you see in other types of media entertainment, just because they're so entertaining to me. They bring a different field to like almost any cast. But even though Mayuri is like complete hacks to like almost every opponent he's like up against, I like the stuff that he did with Nemu, and like kind of how, you know, Mayuri is looked at from a lot of people as he is kind of like an evil person. He doesn't do the most heroic things, but when it came to creating Nemu, he was so passionate about creating his own Soul Reaper and all this other stuff. It was, you know, pretty enlightening to see that it was more to Mayuri than just him being someone who wanted to just experiment on people and I want to do these crazy things. I want to, you know, bring about the best out of people with DNA and like all this other stuff. And I really liked it. And I liked his Zanpakuto. His Bankai was cool. I think Mayuri is he's one of those staple characters for me in Bleach when I think of Bleach characters that stand out the most. Number 6, I have a interesting character to put at number 6. Typically he's in like everybody's top 5 or top 3, but I have Eisen at number 6. Now obviously everybody loves Eisen. Eisen is one of the most iconic characters in all of just anime, and manga period when it comes to villains. I mean, we all know what he did in the Soul Society arc at the end, the Arrancar arc, where we really get to see Eisen, like how much he really planned ahead of time. The memes with Eisen. I mean, Eisen's just one of those characters to where it's kind of like I don't know how you can't dislike him. It's I don't know, man. But I'm not gonna go into the whole spiel of Eisen. Everybody knows about him. And then I thought in the 1,000 Year Blood War arc, he was actually, for the limited time he was used, I thought it was pretty cool. I think, you know, him going against Yawak was actually nice and actually made sense for his character. So, you know, I'm gonna put him at number 6. And at 5, I got Ukiyor. I think Ukiyor is so cool. To me, he was definitely the shining. Well, he was one of the shining stars in the Arrancar arc. Everything about him, the emptiness and the hollowness in his heart, how he really wanted to feel something for once as he continued to fight Ichigo. And he was actually starting to, you know, feel emotion as a character, even though, you know, he's very vicious, very violent, you know, his transformation and everything. Even the symbolic like way that Ukiyor was shown, his character was really shining as like what he is and why someone like Ichigo is going up against him. Ichigo is someone who's fighting a lot of the time mainly because he's reactionary and, you know, he wants to protect his friends and his loved ones, compared to Ukiyor, who's really a character who's a lot of times just doing what he was told by Eisen or just doing what he wanted to do, because he didn't really have a connection in terms of like, you know, having a heart or like having friends to care for, and he wanted that at the end. I love Ukiyor, love his design. His resurrection form is one of the best in the entire series, so I'm putting him at the top of the top 5. At number 4, we have to go with the captain, the general of my OG. I gotta put Yamamoto. Oh my god, like, I've had some of the best hype moments in a long time, specifically with just Yamamoto. We know Yamamoto, his Bankai, when that gets animated, it's breaking the internet. His Bankai alone and why he was going all out so hard against Yawak is one of the best moments in all of Bleach. Let alone under like all the themes and like under that stern nature of him, how he went from just a stone cold killer just wanting to protect the whole society, actually wanting to build up the Gokai 13, building these connections, and almost that being the downfall of him. Oh my god, so cool. One of the better like old characters that just go ham. I mean, the guy is so badass. It's almost like, how do you not put him in a top 5? And then let alone like his whole presence. I like characters that have presence. Yamamoto is one of the peak characters I've read in a while, to where his presence alone can make a chapter go from like, okay, this is okay, to, oh my god, like this is about to go crazy. Like, you need characters like that in action series like this, and Yamamoto is arguably the peak of that. So he's at the 4th spot. Now this top 3 is interchangeable on the day. I love all 3 of these characters. Number 3, I gotta go with my boy Grimmjow. Grimmjow is one of the most badass characters I've read. Now granted, this guy doesn't have the most time compared to a lot of antagonists, but he makes you remember him with everything he did in the Arrancar, everything he did with Ichigo, his resurrection form, which I was a bit 50-50 on, but I got to like it at the end. Everything. Like, this guy is, I love the apex predator theme that he was. He was number 6 when he got to the Arrancar, but before that, he was like the king on the mountain. He was the king of the jungle. But then when Eisen beat him, or he kind of told him that, you know, you're just a big fish in a small pond, and then he went to the Arrancar, you can tell that Grimmjow was never really a fan of how he was just number 6. So he went out of his way, fought Ichigo, beat Ichigo practically twice, if we're being honest. If it wasn't for that arm thing, like this, like, oh my god, the guy alone is just, he's my favorite Espada, my favorite Arrancar. I gotta put him at number 3. You ask me any day of the week, he could be anywhere, like I said, 3, 2, or 1. But I'm gonna let you guys know what the other 2 are. You'll probably understand why. Number 2, Ichigo. Ichigo is one of my favorite main characters now because of it. I love his internal struggle. Definitely reminded me of something like Yusuke Urameshi. You could definitely feel some of that in terms of the inspiration behind him, but obviously his own way, the Kubo's, you know, Bleach way of doing it. From even Fullbringer arc, which isn't like the greatest arc, obviously. For some reason, for me, I appreciate the fact that we delved even more into Ichigo as a human character instead of just his power. Because in Soul Society, a lot of it was Ichigo fighting for his friends, wanting to rescue Rukia, and he was just fighting on a lot of just pure will. And then you kind of get more of that in the Arrancar arc, but with him thinking more, him actually, you know, being respected as a Soul Reaper and all this other stuff. And then 1,000-Year Blood War arc, I wish, ironically, it didn't feel like he was in there for a lot of time, but just I want to say, like, the presence and like the value that Ichigo grew as the story progressed, that even a certain character had to tell Ichigo to please save the Soul Society. I really like Ichigo's character. His personality is really dope too. I love just cool main characters that give more off than just, oh, I'm just a cool badass. Ichigo gives that and more as a main character. I put him at the number 2 spot. At number 1, if you don't know, now you know, that boy Kenpachi is I said Grimjaw was one of the. Kenpachi for me is the most badass character I've read in a while in shonen period. This dude is on another level. First of all, before I even get to his badass moments, obviously cool character. Even like from the way he was introduced for his Unohana stuff, and how Kenpachi at such a young age, I think they say he was like, I don't think they specify his age, but he was like maybe 9 years old or something like that. How grown, you know, trained murderers, assassins, you know, swordsmen could not stop Kenpachi at that age. The fact that this man has a eye patch to seal his power just so he can enjoy the fight more, because when he unleashes that eye patch, it's raps. He knows it's raps. And then, not even to mention the stuff of how he got his name in the first place from Yachiru. Oh my god, dog. And then, now let's get into this badass moments in his fights. Obviously, the stuff for Ichigo, the one person that gave Ichigo, obviously, you know, the draw and all that. He did that. Then he came back in the Arankart arc, completely just destroy Nenatoro with the whole kendo using 2 horns. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of like, that was just goofy. The fact that he needed to, like, as soon as he puts 2 hands on his hilt and he actually, you know, tries to do swords and stuff, he wins. And also to mention, I don't know if it was in the anime or I want to say it was in the manga, the fact that Shinsui stated that Yamamoto stopped training him at certain points because he was starting to get too strong for his own good says a lot. And in Fullbring, the one shot, I don't even remember dude's name, but he one shotted boy, and he asked Byakuya to switch with him because he wanted Tsukishima, because that was gonna be a tougher fight. The disrespect that he gives his opponents. 1,000-Year Blood War arc, Kenpachi is one of the top 2 in terms of doing the most in this arc. Who had the most shine? The Grimmy fight, or the Grimmy, whatever his name was. Amazing. That's gonna break the internet when that gets animated. Kenpachi's unnamed Bankai, where this dude just goes completely berserk mode. Speed increases, power intensifies. Everything about him. Everything he cuts now with his Nazarashi, his Zanpakuto release, or even if that, yeah, I think that was his Zanpakuto release. Everything can get cut, even a meteor. This dude is on that level. Even his introduction for the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. You'll walk standing there. He's watching as his men are fighting. Kenpachi pulls up with one of his soldiers on his sword, raises him as if he's Goku against Raditz, throws him to the wayside, and stares directly at Yawaka wanting to fight. That, I'm telling you, like, Kenpachi is up there. When you think of badass characters, I'm putting Kenpachi as the pinnacle. And that's why he's number 1 on the top 10 list. Alright, y'all, that was my top 10 favorite characters list in all of Bleach. I really enjoyed the fact that I read the manga and the anime even more. But man, guys, let me know in the comment section down below your favorite characters in Bleach. It could be your top 5, your top 10, your number 1, doesn't matter. Let me know. I'll holler at you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.